My name is Eleni, and I come from Greece. I am an English teacher and an alternative therapist. Several months before the first global lockdown due to the pandemic of the coronavirus, I had a calling to go back to my land of origin, in the south of the Peloponnese, a place of great history and folk tradition. And that's how my story begins. My name is Eleni, but my friends call me El-Yan. As early as antiquity, the area was famous for its fertile land, mainly its plains, and is still inextricably linked to agriculture. Significant quantities of rice, tobacco, raisins, figs, citrus fruits, olives, vegetables were all produced and continue to be produced here, with king of all, the olive oil, which was one of the most important products of the rural economy of the region since the Mycenaean years. Olive oil, the liquid gold as it is called, is the basis of the Mediterranean diet, has great therapeutic value, and is a key ingredient for a variety of traditional therapeutic recipes. Ever since I was a little girl, I used to spend several months in the village, where I was to meet one of my greatest teachers ever, my grandmother. She took me every day to the fields, where she taught me everything about nature, weather phenomena, olive and vine crops, local recipes, but mainly she taught me about the wild, healing herbs and how important they were in traditional treatments. But above all, she taught me the importance of the sun and the earth for the balance of the human body. Some of the local therapeutic herbs are the following: βάλσαμο, ρίγανη, φασκόμηλο, λάπαθο, καυκαλίθρα, αγριοκαρότο, ζωχός, ασφόδελος, άγρια γκινάρα, τσουκνίδα, ταραξάκο, στρίφνος, σέσκουλο, ρόκα, άγριο ραδίκι, παπαρούνα, μυρώνι, μολόχα, μάραθος, άγριο σπαράγγι, άγριο σκόρδο, σινάπι. My grandmother had planted a seed in me in my early childhood, which was about to start growing. The only thing I had to do was to start watering it, and so I did. I gathered old seeds from the neighbors, asked directions about local crops, and started planting with pretty satisfying results, both for my plants as for my psychology. My quest to nature had just started and as I was studying botanology, I was about to discover a very significant healing tree. Some common names in the local dialect are the following: Κοριτσιά, αμπουρτζιά, απιδιά, αγριαπιδιά, αγκαθιά, αγριοχλαδιά, αχράς, όχνη by Homer, or Appius by Theophrastus. Today, I will talk to you about a wild fruit tree, Gortsia, or wild pear tree, or Gorcha, a forgotten, yet one more, tree fruit of our youth, which grows all over Greece, but also in the south of the Peloponnese. A forgotten tree, but very closely related to our folk tradition, since it has significant nutritional and healing properties. Gorcha fruit. They contain vitamins A, B1, B2, C, E, folic acid and niacin. They're also rich in copper, phosphorus and potassium, and in smaller amounts in calcium, chlorine, iron, magnesium, sodium, and sulfur. Blood pressure. They have antioxidants and anti-cancer ingredients, which help prevent high blood pressure and strokes. Inflammation. Its juice has an anti-inflammatory effect. Cholesterol. Their high concentration in pectin makes Gorcha particularly important in trying to lower cholesterol levels. Colon health. Its precious fibers are particularly beneficial for colon health. Constipation. Pectin in Gorcha is diuretic and has mild laxative effect. Cancer prevention. Their high concentration in vitamin C and copper acts as antioxidants and protects cells from free radical damage. Apidya or Gorcha, also known by the scientific name Pyrus the almond leaf or Pyrus amygdaliformis, because its leaves resemble those of an almond tree. It is a wild pear tree belonging to the Rosaceae family. It is a relatively small, deciduous and thorny tree which can reach a height of more than 6 meters. The trees that have survived so far are mainly those found in inaccessible mountainsides or surrounded by thorny bushes called vata. The reason I chose this tree is because it is fruitful, very important for the survival of bees, but also highly therapeutic. Its small, astringent and styptic fruit were used to make bread by the inhabitants of Argos, another Peloponnesian city, in the same way that the Arcadians produced bread using dry oak fruits. Usually in October, the inhabitants of my village collected the ripe gorcha in large sacks and prepared sweet molasses, called petimezi in Greek, in the same process prepared with grapes or figs in other areas. More than often, the boiling took place in huge copper pots with the addition of ash. With the petimezi and pieces of quince and apple, they made wonderful sweets, which in Greece we call spoon sweets. They also made delicious pies with petimezi and flour, called moustopites. The fruit of gorgia in October, together with the acorns, was an excellent food for domestic animals, since during this winter period there were no other natural food sources for the animals. This tree has significant beekeeping value thanks to its early flowering period that starts in March. It helps in the growth of bees after a long winter. As we all know, early in spring, beehives have very high food needs for the rearing of the brood, and the gorgia tree blooms at the most critical moment. Gorgia, thanks to the many acids and other substances it contains, is not only nutritious food, but its fruits also have medicinal properties and help in the treatment of diseases of the digestive and respiratory systems. This wild pear tree is antispasmodic, hemostatic. It's used against indigestion and diarrhea, while it is beneficial in dysmenorrhea. But most importantly, many people in different parts of Greece argue that with an old folk gorgia recipe, they can cure prostate cancer. This old folk traditional remedy includes gathering gorgia tree branches, cutting them in small pieces, and boiling them in several phases to produce a liquid which, according to the locals, in combination with their proper Western treatment, can accelerate the cure for prostate cancer. Ancient Greek folk medicine is a result of observation and is closely linked to ancient medicines, which in turn are altogether interconnected. Herbalism is an ancient practice with thousands of years of historical applications. Today, the well-recognized ancient traditions of Ayurveda and traditional Chinese medicine, or TCM, remain instrumental as effective herbal practices. Equally important is understanding and recognizing the contributions of ancient Greek herbalism, and namely the four humors. Although these concepts are no longer mainstream theories, they continue to provide an underlying foundation to modern medical and herbal practices. From Asclepius to Aristotle, to Hippocrates, to Theophrastus and Dioscorides, there are many well-preserved texts by ancient Greek doctors, philosophers, and botanists that continue to support our understanding of the human body and the natural world. Although the ancient Greeks are not commonly known today for their contribution to herbalism as compared to the ancient herbalists of India or China, they were greatly instrumental in establishing the practice of modern medicine. Hippocrates, known as the father of modern medicine, and whose Hippocratic oath continues to bind modern-day physicians to first do no harm, continues to serve as an iconic figure to the medical practitioner. Equally important is understanding and recognizing the contributions of ancient Greek herbalism, namely the four humors. These four humors, from the Greek word hymos, or bodily fluid, helped ancient healers effectively explain disease and help those seeking medical treatment with appropriate recommendations. Hippocrates developed the theory of the four humors: blood, phlegm, yellow bile, and black bile, so sickness was a result of imbalances in the body from a variety of factors, including diet, exercise, environmental factors, and the state of one's mental health. Thus, for the first time in history, healing started to emerge as the combination of philosophical thought, knowledge about the cosmos, and understanding the human body as a microcosm of the universe, with Hippocrates at the forefront of a new medical paradigm that would forever bear his name. Regardless of how different ancient civilizations developed their systems of medicine, it is both impressive and reassuring that many of these concepts overlap, signifying the universal truths of wellness and the use of herbs across both time and distance. Whether we have ancestors from ancient Greece, China, or India is not really important. What matters is that we understand history as the foundation of our modern practices and find the inspiration we need to understand the complexities of health in our role as herbalists, to support the body using nature's gifts. Let us remember the wisdom given to us by our ancient teachers, but above all, to bear in mind that our ancestors bequeathed us with the love for nature. Our body has a memory thousands of years old, and if man returns to nature, he will regain the correct perception of space and time around him, and as a part of nature, he will slowly begin to respond and remember what it is like to function as part of the whole, to harmonize with the rising and setting of the sun, to observe the weather phenomena and other creatures of nature, qualities that the Western way of life has deprived us of. The more you concentrate on the here and now, the more harmonized you become and open to the secrets of nature. your instinct becomes stronger and stronger as you observe and model on all living beings around you, learning the importance of simply being. You have nothing to prove to anyone, not even to yourself. You simply experience love as a diffusing energy that permeates everything, balancing, pure, absolute acceptance, because that is exactly why you were born, to enjoy a journey on an earthly paradise with respect, and if you wish, to express the gifts offered to you by your Mother Earth, and to transform them into art, philosophy, or any other form of creative expression that promotes you and makes you remember your higher self, created in the image of your Creator. In a few words, you were made to experience your divinity.